Well, our interior changeover on the 70 Chevelle is done, except for the seats. Stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage, and today we are finalizing a couple of things on the 70 Chevelle, aka the seats being the main one. We got the new horseshoe console shifter in, the new SS dash, all that stuff went in fairly easy. The couple small things that we ran into, like the dash speakers. This was a Malibu, so I had the corner speakers not working with the SS gauges. We'll have to go down to the kick panels on those. But other than that, it's not been too bad. If you follow me on the live show, I talked about I bought a cheap steering column that was supposed to fit the 70 Chevelle. It sort of fits. We're going to see if we can make it work. If not, we'll go back to square one. But for now, we're talking about the seats. And I want to start by getting a huge shout out to Corbeau for sponsoring this build and hooking us up with some seats and brackets. And the cool thing about it is the brackets you can buy are designed for if you're going to a bench over to a bucket. So they'll mount in the factory bench locations and give you some inboard next to the console locations to drill through the floor and run the hardware on there. So let's open one of those up and take a look at it now. So here's our driver's side bracket for our 68 to 72 Chevelle. It's labeled on there. These run about $145 a piece, which sounds expensive, but they do come with the sliders already mounted up and ready to go. And so essentially what we're looking to do is find the front bolt hole, line it up, and then find the rear bolt hole and do the same. And they should both line up to give us guides on where we're going to have to go through the floor to mount the opposite side. Now, whenever we do that, we'll drill it out, run a bolt through the top, fender washer as big as we can get on the bottom, and nut, lock washer, nut, and secure that in place. Remember, the seats only do so much. If you get hit in the rear, they're going to hold you in place, but if you get into an accident, the seats aren't doing anything. That's why we wear seat belts. So I've got my factory bolts that are going to come in here and secure the front and back of this bracket. But I also wanted to take a moment to show you what I was talking about by the fender washers that'll be used on the other side with some grade 8 hardware to clamp this down. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut back the carpet so that foot pad can rest down in there a little better. Get one less layer of carpet holding it back. Okay, let's cut the lower piece out. There we go. Okay, now we can drill the front one easily. The back one, though, we're going to have to mark. I know you're not going to be able to see it behind the console, but it's underneath the bracket, so there's no way of getting a drill through there. So I'm just going to mark both of them. And essentially what I've used is a lumber crayon just to give me something. I can get it in the hole real easy on the front. On the back, it's kind of at an angle, but it's going to shave off some of the crayon and just push it down the hole into the carpet. And then if we remove the brackets, we're going to be able to see exactly where we need to drill our holes. Okay, I got a little over the shoulder action so you can see better what's going on here. This is the hardware that I'm using, and this is actually a seatbelt hardware kit for seatbelts I didn't use on this. We can get this out of the way and you can see my two marks. pretty straightforward. And if you're worried about the carpet, you can always, well, I'll show you. Let me grab my torch. Little torch ain't getting the job done. That was a UPS guy, by the way. We're here with the mad gas. I'll get her warmed up. Okay, we'll go in where this hole's supposed to be. And there we go. Melted straight through. Might need a little more heat to do the front. I'm just giving her a little twist to help her down through there, counterclockwise, so it doesn't pick up the carpet. There we go. Okay. So we'll let that cool off for a second. Go ahead and drill our front hole. Probably need a battery that's not dead. That front one went through one of the floor supports. That's why we had to go a little harder on it. So now we'll step up to our final size. What I'm going to do on this one is do the rear and then mount the bracket back in so I can use the front to guide me. That easy. Easy peasy. Bracket squeezy. So let's get our driver side hardware loosely placed. Okay, that one's good. You'll see what I'm talking about. I got a little wiggle in here so I can make sure and get my front hole lined up perfectly so I'm not in a bind. So now that our rear's in place, go ahead and drill out the front. Okay. Now the only thing left to do is crawl underneath, throw the washers on, and tighten it down. When it comes to mounting the seat, got a couple options, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You can take the bracket back out, mount it to the seat, then put the seat in and work with the chassis mounts. I'm going to leave the bracket in, try to set the seat in here, and we can get to the back ones right now. Once we get the back ones on, then we can use the slider to slide it forward to get the front ones on. So, which one's easier? I'm not sure. They're both kind of a pain, so don't be surprised. Let me get, I'm going to get a box end wrench that I can put on these to back up the top side of it while I'm underneath the car. So the seat that we're going with here is the GTS2. They're about $1,400 for a pair, depending on the options, you know. We went with the black leather Alcantara blend. Kind of more of a sporty look. They have an all black leather, that whenever you get that one, they don't put the company logo on it to make it more of a sleeper look. Being that they're sponsoring this though, I want to make sure and have the company logo on it. I've ran these seats in multiple vehicles, not these seats, but Corbeau seats in multiple vehicles. The weight savings alone is worth it, but the comfort. So these are probably half the weight of the factory buckets, maybe even a third. And for a long drive, they're just going to be out of this world comfortable. And they come with the Allen hardware. Getting it lined up is another question. As I said, you can do this out of the vehicle, but then you have to worry about getting your bolts through the floor brackets lined up. I'd rather get the floor brackets attached and secured and then worry about getting these Allens in. I'm on the hole. If I just get it started. Maybe I should have started with the far one first. Oh, I also got the lumbar. Oh yeah. That's gonna be sweet. Don't forget, if you're thinking about buying something like this, to do the measurements. Measure everything out. The last thing you want to do is end up buying custom seats like this and find out that your armrest is getting into the side bolsters or something. Okay, so I haven't ran these all the way down. Once again, making it easier to get the other ones in, get everything adjusted. So now that we've got it somewhat on there, we should be able to get the sliders forward. Unless we're... Oh, you know what? Bolts may not be in far enough to clear the sliders. I might have to run this one in a little bit more. So we need to get the sliders forward enough to get the front bolts in. I'm starting to rethink this whole approach, and maybe it's better to do the Allens on the bench and then the floor bolts afterwards. So I may go that approach. Granted, I'll have to mount the floor mounts up, drill them, get all that knocked out, and then... Okay, there we go. So now we've got some lift on this front so we can find out where we need to get these Allens to go in. Okay, I've 100% changed my mind. Mount the brackets to the seat first. Okay, let's get the headrest on. Sweet! Man, I almost feel bad sitting down in this seat. It's too clean. Oh yeah. Oh, what's this? Need some lumbar support? Pump, pump, pump it up. There it is. For me, I might even, yeah, go all the way forward. Oh yeah. I think this is going to be a pretty good cruising position. We get the steering wheel in here with the tilt. Man, this thing's comfortable. It's got good supports on the side, but not to the point where it's digging into you, making things uncomfortable. Get our seatbelt situated. Only issue I foresee happening, and it's not going to be my problem, is helmet on the headliner. Seats, I don't know if they feel a little bit higher. say right here, man, this is a good position. Get out of the way. Oh yeah. Good for the armrest. Perfect for the arm out the window. What do you guys think? So, once again, big shout out to Corbeau for helping us out on this thing. Hopefully the dog barking, little Satan in there, hasn't been an issue. And yeah, I'm going to finish wrapping up this interior so I can take this thing for a cruise with the new seats. But you guys know the drill. Bolt the brackets to the seat first. And always be tuning.